Hello everyone, welcome to TalentSprint. How are you guys? I see many of you have joined this session. Good morning everyone. Arpana, Tanmay Paul, Shrivani, Shanawaz, Sharmila, Sudhakar, Prem Kumar, Mahata, Vaishnavi, Dana, Shrishti, Revati Sharma, Vinay Kumar, Shrivani, Chinnu Virji. So most of you have joined this session. This is the most awaited session from TalentSprint students about the review and analysis of the Union Budget 2018 and 19. So how much do you know about the Union Budget 2018-19? Do you know the actual budget terms? What are the terms which are involved in budget? Do you have any idea about this? Okay, good morning everyone. Lakshman, so many people have joined this. Ratnam. So budget is very important as far as competitive exams is concerned. Budget is very important. It may be UPSC or SSC or banking exams. Budget, at least 2 to 3 questions will repeat from budget topic in every competitive examination. Okay, clear with this? So hi everyone. So let's wait for 2 more minutes so that we'll start the session about the review and analysis of the Union Budget 2018-19. Good morning everyone. Rahul, Shubham, Prashant, Jasmine. So we'll start in 1 more minute. Hope you are doing well and preparing well for different examinations. CHSL is coming up in April 4th, right? Nilesh, Archana, Kiran. Yes, it is important for every examination, not only for SBI clerk. Anand, it is not only for SBI clerk, it is important for every competitive examinations. Okay, so shall we start? Are you ready for this review and analysis of the Union Budget 2018-19? Yes, we shall start now. Hope you can see my screen. Is it visible now? Yes. So first we shall see the constitutional facts about budget. What is a budget? Budget is a money bill. Yes, budget is a money bill which is recommended by the President of India to be presented in the Lok Sabha under Article 112 of Indian Constitution, right? So budget is always a money bill, right? Remember this. And money bills should be recommended by President only in Lok Sabha. So budget first, it is introduced in Lok Sabha only first, okay, not in Rajya Sabha. So after Lok Sabha passes this bill, then it is sent to Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha has only 14 days time to approve this budget, because Rajya Sabha people are not elected directly by the people. So Rajya Sabha has 14 days time limit to approve this budget. If it doesn't approve, it is considered as approved by the Rajya Sabha, then it is sent to the President for his signature. So after President signs it, it will become the official budget of India. So under Article 112, there is no word called budget in Indian Constitution. It is called as annual financial statement. Remember this, annual financial statement. Okay, clear with this? So these are some of the constitutional facts about budget. So remember, it is a money bill. This is a very important statement. It's a money bill. Then the President recommends it in Lok Sabha. So after Lok Sabha passes it, it is sent to Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha has only 14 days time limit. Do you have any question about Lok Sabha? So does Lok Sabha has any time limit? Okay. So Lok Sabha doesn't have any time limit, right? Clear with this? So moving on to the budget at a glance. So Chinnu Virji asks, what if Rajya Sabha rejects? Rajya Sabha rejects. If Rajya Sabha rejects, then it is considered to be passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then it is sent to the president. What is a money bill? Money bill means whenever we involve money. See, generally we have wallet, right? So like that, government also has wallet. It is called as Consolidated Fund of India, mentioned in article number 266. Okay, so this Consolidated Fund of India is a wallet of India. Okay, so whichever money which goes into the Consolidated Fund of India and comes out of the Consolidated Fund of India is called as a money bill, and it is mentioned under article number 110. Okay, clear with this about money bill? So we shall see the budget 2018-19 at a glance first. So whenever we open the budget documents, we see these receipts, capital receipts, total expenditure. Generally budget means what? So budget means it involves expenditure plus income. So just we can say that it is a financial receipt statement of both expenditure as well as income. Okay, whatever incomes which get into the Consolidated Fund of India and whatever expenditure which goes out of the Consolidated Fund of India is called as a budget, and it is mentioned under article 112. Sir, who holds this fund? RBI or bank? RBI or banks doesn't hold this Consolidated Fund of India. It is a parliament has the final authority about this Consolidated Fund of India, which is a wallet of the government. Okay, so whenever we see the budget documents, we will see these 4 columns. Hope you can observe these 4 columns. So generally budget means we think that there is only 1 year. See, we have 3 years. So 2018-19 means it is an upcoming year. So why should we involve the other years, 2017 and 2016? Because the thing is, we have sent, suppose I have taken agriculture. So suppose in 16-17 I have allocated 1000 crores for agriculture in 16-17. In 17-18 I have allocated 1500 crores. Suppose in the middle I have spent more, 1800 crores. Okay, so if I include only 1600 crores in 18-19, it will not be sufficient. So I will keep that in revised estimates. Suppose I have spent 1000 crores for agriculture in 16-17 and 1500 crores in 17-18, and in 18-19 I want to spend 1600 crores, but in revised estimates in the middle I have spent 1800 crores. So it is not enough. So I will mention this in revised estimates because I have spent more here. Okay, so in 18-19 I will spend more than 1800 crores for the agriculture sector. That's why we use revised estimates of the previous year. Understood everyone? Okay, so clear with this? So coming to revenue receipts. What do you mean by receipt? Receipt means whichever we get as income is called a receipt. Whichever we spend is called as expenditure. We have 2 types of receipt. One is revenue receipt and another is capital receipt. So why 2 types of receipts? We can have only 1 receipt, right? So smaller amounts will be kept in revenue receipts and larger amounts will be kept in capital receipts. Okay, so same wise, smaller amounts will be kept in revenue expenditure and larger amounts will be kept in capital expenditure. Okay, when we spend larger amounts, we keep it in capital expenditure. When we spend smaller amounts, we keep it in revenue expenditures. See, the total tax revenue for this year is 14,80,649 crores. Okay, the tax revenue is higher and the non-tax revenue is lower. Coming to capital receipts, under capital receipts we have 7,16,475 crores. Okay, so in this we have the highest component as borrowing and other liabilities. Okay, so government borrows a lot of money from the public. Hope you know this in money market, like treasury bills, all these treasury bills, commercial papers, government bonds, all these are used as borrowing tools by the government to borrow money from the public. So this is the highest component under the capital receipts. So total receipts is this much. So coming to expenditures. So expenditure, so can we say the total expenditure of 2018-19 for the budget is this much. How much is it? 24,42,213 crores. Okay, clear with this? So coming to which is the highest component? So revenue component is higher for the expenditure part. What do you mean by smaller amount? Dana says, what do you mean by smaller amount? Smaller amounts mean, suppose I have a public account. We have another account called Public Account of India. In that we save these post office deposits, judicial deposits. Suppose I save 1 lakh rupees as a common person in a post office. So that will go under post office deposits. It will come under Public Account of India. So that is a very smaller amount compared to the budget, which will be in lakhs of crores. Because there is no specific limit for the classification of revenue receipt and capital receipts. I can't say below 1 crore will be kept under revenue receipts. There is no categorization, but very small amounts are kept under revenue receipts. Clear with this? Okay. So moving on to deficit part. This is about expenditure and this is about receipts. Moving on to deficit. How much is the revenue deficit? It is 2.2% of GDP. Okay, 2.2% of GDP. Clear with this? And moving on to fiscal deficit, it is 3.3% targeted. So these are very important. Remember this. So I'll write here because it is not visible. For 2017-18, the RD target is 2.2%. Okay, and FD target is 3.3%. This is a target set because it is deficit. When you call deficit, deficit means when expenditure is more than income. So always deficit should be less. What is fiscal deficit? Someone asked, Tanmay Paul, what is fiscal deficit? So when you see the budget topic in our TalentSprint.com, hope you have gone through the fiscal budget topics. Hope you have gone through them. So fiscal deficit means it is the total budget deficit minus the market borrowing, because we borrow a lot of things, because government borrows a lot of things. It doesn't want to include in this budget deficit. So it will exclude the market borrowing part. So budget deficit minus market borrowing will give you fiscal deficit part. Then what is revenue deficit? Revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. Clear with this? Then what is primary deficit? Fiscal deficit minus, on market borrowing I am paying interest, right? See, government has to pay interest whenever it borrows money. Clear with this? So I want to remove this interest deficit also. Interest payments which is done by the government also on market borrowing. So fiscal deficit minus interest payments will give you the primary deficit. So what is the target for PD? It is 0.3%. Okay, these are important for us. Remember these for the 18-19. I'm sorry with this. It's 18-19. The targets for 2018-19 RD is 2.2%, FD is 3.3%, and primary deficit is 0.3%. Clear with this? Shall we move on to the next slide? Are there any doubts? Okay. So moving on to the rupee comes from and rupee goes to. First we shall see the rupee earnings. So what do you mean by 1 rupee? 1 rupee is equals to 100 pies, right? So we shall divide how 1 rupee comes to India through various sectors. Okay, so seeing this figure, which is the highest component which is contributing to this rupee? So one is borrowing and other liabilities. I've already told you, government borrows a lot of money from the public. That is the highest component. How much is it? 19 pies. This is important. Yes. And next one is corporation tax, the highest tax generated out of all the taxes in India, both direct and indirect. This is the highest tax generator. This is also contributing 19 pies. So which is the next one? which contributes to the rupee, that is income tax, 16 pice. Okay, and the goods and services tax, which was introduced earlier on July 1st 2017, it is contributing 23 pice, and the lowest is customs. Customs duty means which we pay on for imports and exports. Okay, so this is contributing 4 pice. Okay, so this is about the corporation tax is direct tax or indirect tax. Corporation tax is direct tax. So what are the examples of direct taxes? Income tax, corporation tax, wealth tax. Earlier we used to have wealth tax, securities transaction tax, all these. Corporation tax is a direct tax paid by the corporate companies. Currently it is 25%. Okay, so recently we have introduced GST. It is contributing 23 pice. Non-tax revenue, that means apart from taxes we have other revenues, right? So those are kept under non-tax revenue. It is contributing 8 pice. And non-debt capital receipt. What do you mean by debt? Which we have to pay back. So non-debt means which we don't need to pay back. So here we can say the highest after GST is goods and services tax. It is contributing 23 pice. And borrowings are contributing 19 pice. Corporation tax is contributing again 19 pice. Income tax is contributing 16 pice, and the lowest is customs. So we need lowest and highest, top 3, highest and the lowest one. Okay, clear with this slide? So shall we move on to the next one? So this is about rupee comes from. Next we shall see rupee goes to. Okay, so which is the highest here? The highest is state's share. I'll write it here if it is not visible. State's share of taxes and duties. See, whenever the central government collects taxes from the states, it will be distributed among the states. So 14th Finance Commission has recommended, earlier it was 32%, now 14th Finance Commission chaired by Y.B. Reddy, Y. Venugopal Reddy has recommended 42%, more than 32%. So 10% increase for the share by the states. So that is highest. How much is it? 24 pice. Then which is the next one? See here, which is the next one? Is the interest payments. So it is contributing 18 pice. Okay, which is the third one? Central sector schemes. So central sector schemes means like ICDS, Integrated Child Development Scheme. Anganwadi centers are there, right? So someone is asking me a question, sir, if government allocates some money on health field in budget and if the actual expenditure is more than that of money, then difference is get added to which type of deficit? Is it revenue or fiscal? See, fiscal is, it doesn't involve only the market borrowing part. So in budget when we are allocating money, market borrowing is not involved, right? So it involves in both types of revenue or fiscal deficits. Okay, it involves both in revenue and fiscal deficits. So here central sector schemes like ICDS example, we contribute around 10 pice. So which is the lowest one here? Can you observe? So pensions is the lowest one. So highest the central government is paying as the state's share of taxes and duties, and the lowest is for pensions, either for physically disabled or old age persons, or one rank one pension. Okay, clear with this? Moving on to next one. So rupee comes from and rupee goes to, we have seen. Next we shall see the deficit trends. So we have already seen what is fiscal deficit, what is revenue deficit. So what is the fiscal deficit target? We have already seen. So for 2017-18 it was 3.5%, and for 18-19 it is 3.3%. Remember two of them, okay, for 2 years. What was the previous year's target and what is this upcoming year's target? And next, for revenue deficit we have 2.6%. For 18-19 it is 2.2%. okay, and coming to primary deficit, it is 0.4% was the target for 17-18. For 18-19 it is 0.3%. Tell me which deficit is higher of all the deficits. So always fiscal deficit will be higher than revenue deficit than primary deficit. Clear with this, everyone? So out of all the deficits, which deficit will be higher? Because see, market borrowing is it will be in the minus part. So when I remove more negative part, the fiscal deficit will be higher, because we remove market borrowing part from fiscal deficit. So that's why fiscal deficit will always be higher out of all deficits. Okay, so we have to reduce our deficit, because what is deficit? Expenditure is more than revenue, right? So we have to control our expenditure, or we have to increase our revenue. That's why we need to reduce our deficit. Every country has to reduce its deficit. Moving on to next, the different allocations for various sectors. So first is the most important sector in India, that is agriculture and rural economy. So more than 50% of Indian population are still working in agriculture. Though it is contributing around 17% to the GDP, so still more than 50% of the working population are still in agriculture. So farmers are the strength to India, coming either to the food security, or either after the Green Revolution introduced by MS Swaminathan, India has turned from food scarcity country to food scarcity country to food surplus country. Okay, so agriculture is very important for our country for maintaining food surplus. Okay, so what are the different allocations made in the agriculture and rural sectors by the budget 2018-19? So first important one is MSP. What does MSP stands for? Minimum support price. So what do you mean by minimum support price? Whenever there are some disasters, either floods or droughts, so farmers has to be given some minimum support price. Okay, so someone asked me any higher limit for deficits. There is no higher limit. According Constitution doesn't talks about any deficits. Okay, so coming to minimum support price. So minimum support price must be given so that the farmers will be encouraged to produce some products. So minimum support price for all unannounced Kharif crops. When does Kharif crops come? So they will be sown from June to September, right? Yes or no? Kharif crops. So for MSP for all the unannounced Kharif crops will be increased 1.5 times. Okay, so 1.5 times. Suppose if earlier it was 1000 rupees, now it will be made 1500 rupees. That will be the MSP. Generally MSP will be announced while the farmers start to grow their products. Clear with this? It will be not announced after they have harvested the products. It will be announced before the Kharif season starts. Okay, this is very good sign about the agriculture and rural economy. Okay, next, institutional credit for agriculture sector increased to 10 lakh crores. Okay, institutional credit means what? Like we have institutional credit like NABARD, microfinance institutions, regional rural banks, cooperative banks. These are the institutions which give loans to the farmers for encouraging agriculture. So government will be allocating 10 lakh crores extra in 2017-18. Okay, coming to fisheries, aquaculture, animal husbandry, the corpus amount will be made at 10,000 crore rupees. Okay, moving on to the new scheme. Then what is the new scheme name? This is a very important scheme launched this time, that is called Operation Greens, with an outlay of 500 crores. Okay, generally this is related to fisheries, aquaculture and animal husbandry. Okay, this Operation Greens scheme. Next, government to develop and upgrade existing 22,000 rural hearths. Hearths means markets, right? So markets are very important for the farmers, so that they can sell their goods. Okay, so for upgrading 22,000 rural hearths, the government will be developing and upgrading them through the money by the union budget. Next, Agri Market Infrastructure Fund will be initiated with a corpus of 2,000 crores. Okay, and loans to self-help groups. What do you mean by self-help groups? Self-help groups means these are generally formed by women, like 10 to 15, more than minimum 5 members will be forming a group, and they will be pooling their investments. Suppose 10 rupees, 100 rupees. So they will pool the investments. Whenever any person wants money, so they will contribute the money to one of the members at some interest. Okay, this is encouraging savings habit among the women particularly. Generally, NABARD initiates this under its schemes. Okay, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. So loans to self-help groups will be increased to 75,000 crores by March 2019. Okay, next, increased allocation of National Rural Livelihood Mission. So what do you mean by National Rural Livelihood Mission? Generally, rural people lack employment opportunities. So this scheme was started, National Rural Livelihood Mission. So allocation will be increased to 5,750 crores. Okay, next scheme is Ujjwala scheme. What is this Ujjwala scheme? Ujjwala scheme is generally related to providing free LPG connections to BPL families. Okay, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Okay, so distribution of free LPG connections to BPL families, particularly women, to 8 crore per woman. Okay, next, moving on to next sector, that is housing for all. The government targets everyone should have house by 2022. This is a target for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, both for rural and urban. Okay, so housing for all, this is a target to be achieved by 2022. So more than 1 crore houses to be built by 2019 in rural areas. So 1 crore houses will be built in by 2019 in particularly rural areas, because urban areas have enough opportunities and rural areas lack these opportunities. Okay, so these are very important allocations made by the Union Budget 2018-19 for agriculture and rural economy. Okay, so clear about this, everyone? So shall we move on to the next sector? Next is education, health and social protection. So what are the allocations made by the Union Budget for 2018-19? We shall see now. Hope you are ready with this. So first one, estimated budget expenditure on health, education and social protection is 1.38 lakh crores. So this is very important. So how much is allocation for education, health and social protection? So it's 1.38 lakh crores. Okay, remember this. Ekalavya model residential schools to be set up for tribal children. Hope you know about Ekalavya, right? So Ekalavya was the Shishya of Dronacharya, right? So Ekalavya model residential schools to be set up for tribal children under Ministry of Human Resource and Development. Okay, clear with this? Next, investments for research and infra in premier educational institutions at rupees 1 lakh crores in next 4 years. Okay, how much will be spent? Rupees 1 lakh crores only for research and infrastructure facilities like lab facilities, computer lab facilities, physics lab facilities or science lab facilities, to develop infrastructure and to conduct research in premier education institutions like IITs, IISCs. So 1 lakh crores will be spent in next 4 years. Clear with this? Next is allocation on National Social Assistance Program at 9,960 75 crores. Okay, so this is under for the welfare of the societies. Okay, next, world's largest government funded healthcare program, National Health Protection Scheme. This is a very important scheme. Recently it was launched. Okay, National Health Protection Scheme was launched in 2018-19 budget. Clear with this? So this is about education, health and social protection sector, and we shall see some more things in educational, health and social protection. So NHPS, we have already seen, National Health Protection Scheme. What it will do, it will cover 10 crore poor and vulnerable families. Approximately 50 crore beneficiaries will be covered under health sector. Okay, health sector is very important. We don't know when any disaster will happen to any human being, right? So we must be insured with our health insurance. Okay, so this NHPS which will cover 50 crore beneficiaries. So it will provide coverage up to 5 lakh rupees for family per year for hospitalization. So how much is the NHPS scheme providing? So it will provide for 50 crore families. And how much is the premium amount? Sorry, for 1 year it is 5 lakh rupees. Okay, per family, not for everyone, per family. Okay, remember this. This is very important scheme. This was launched in for this budget 2018-19. Okay, so whenever we are hospitalized, so it depends on various things. So 5 lakh rupees will be spent for per family. Okay, and for national health policy, how much is the amount allocated? 1200 crores. So someone is asking me, what is vulnerable family? Vulnerable family means all these BPL families, below poverty line families, are called as vulnerable families. Okay, those who don't have homes, shelter like that, and don't have enough food to eat, okay, at least for 1 sessions. So National Health Policy 2017, 1200 crores was announced. Now 600 crores will be spent for tuberculosis, that is TB patients. Okay, India is also suffering from TB. So we have eradicated polio. So we need to eradicate TB also, right? Also leprosy, all these are prevailing in India. Okay, next, 24 new government medical colleges and hospitals will be established by the union government, and for Operation Clean Ganga, out of 187 projects have been sanctioned, only 47 are complete. So yet we need to complete these remaining projects so that our Ganga will be clean. Okay, next, banks of Ganga are declared as open defecation free. So this is a very good sign. Banks of Ganga are declared open defecation free. Our Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi has started this Banks of Ganga cleaning program at Assi Ghat. Now Assi Ghat is a place where the bodies were cremated near Kasi in Uttar Pradesh. So first he has started with that. Now it is totally made open defecation free. Totally the banks of Ganga are made open defecation free. So this is a very good sign, so that the diseases will not spread to the people. Okay, when we free the open defecation. Clear with this? Moving on to next sector, that is taxation. So for banking sector, this is very important, and also for other competitive examinations, and also any employees is very important. We need to know how much there are deductions, so how much we need to file our taxes, how the tax will be deducted at tax deducted source at a TDS. So we shall see the taxation part. So first, growth of direct taxes in 2016-17 at 12.6%, and for the financial year 2017-18 up to 15th January 2018 is 18.7%. So obviously it has increased. This is a very good sign, right? So tax compliance must increase every year, because when we pay taxes, the government will able to tap the money and spend it for our welfare programs. Okay, so moving on to the next Additional revenue collected from personal income tax is 90,000 crores. Okay, personal income tax is the one of the important taxes in direct taxes. And number of effective taxpayers increased to 8.27 crores. There is a very good sign. Tax compliance must increase every year so that the government can tap the money and use it for the social welfare schemes and for BPL families upliftment from poverty. And 100% deduction to companies registered as farmer producer companies. So those which are related to farmer producers. Suppose I am manufacturing seeds. So that is a farmer producer companies. Okay. So 100% deduction with an annual turnover of up to 100 crores. So suppose these farmer producer companies are below 100 crores turnover. So they have 100% deduction of taxes. They no need to pay any tax. Next, reduced corporate tax of 25%. This was done long back, but it is extended for 250 crores turnover people. So suppose any corporate companies, 250 crores companies are there with turnover of 250 crores. So 25% reduced corporate tax they have to pay. Okay, clear with this? Earlier it was only 1 crore. Next, no change in personal income tax slabs. What are the personal income tax slabs we have currently? Hope you know about this. So 0 to 2.5 lakhs, how much I have to pay? 0%. So 2.5 to 5 lakhs, I'm sorry. So it is 5%, and from 5 to 10 lakhs it is 20%, and above 10 lakhs the person has to pay 30%. Okay, earlier for 2.5 to 5 lakhs it was 10%. Last year it was reduced to 5%, but currently there is no change in the personal income tax slabs. Okay, and standard deduction of 40,000. This is the most debated topic now going on in the budget. This is a standard deduction of rupees 40,000 in place of the present exemption allowed for transport allowance and reimbursement of miscellaneous medical expenses. So that means we can exempt tax of up to 40,000 under transport allowance and medical expenses. Earlier this was there, it was removed, but now it was reintroduced back. Okay, so standard deduction of 40,000 was initiated for this budget 2018-19. Clear with this? So about taxation. Okay, these are some of the important points regarding taxation. Okay, moving on to some more topics. Increase in education and health cess on personal income tax and corporation tax is 4%. What is this cess? See, there is no full form for cess. Cess means it is a tax on tax. Okay, suppose I am paying personal income tax. Suppose if government wants to levy some more tax on it, it will say educational cess. So what do you mean by education cess? That amount which is collected on that cess will be used for education. Swachh Bharat cess. So that amount which is collected on that cess will be used for Swachh Bharat. Krishi Kalyan cess. So the amount will be used for agriculture, like that. So education and health cess on personal income tax and corporation tax increase from 3 to 4%. Remember this is very important. Okay, so education and health cess has been increased from 3 to 4%, and payments exceeding 10,000 in cash made by trusts and institutions to be disallowed. Okay, so cash transactions which are paid by trusts like charities, institutions will be not allowed by the government. Okay, exceeding 10,000 rupees. So below 10,000 it is allowed. Remember this. Next, proposal to tax long-term capital gains tax. This is very important now, debated, most debated topic now. LTCG, long-term capital gains tax exceeding 1 lakh rupees at the rate of 10% will be taxed from now. So LTCG which is exceeding 1 lakh rupees. See, what do you mean by capital gains? What is actually capital? See, when I sell my land for profit, so I will get some profit. Okay, suppose I am selling my land at a profit of 50,000. Okay, that is the capital gains. So on this capital gains I have to pay some capital gains tax. Okay, LTCG stands for long term capital gains tax. So on that my profit of 50,000 I have to pay some tax. Okay, it depends from state to state. Now suppose my profit exceeds 1 lakh rupees, how much tax I have to pay? 10%. Okay, without any benefits. However, all gains up to 31st January will be grandfathered. Okay, so long term capital gains up to 31st January 2018 will be exempted. From 1st February 2018, so LTCG of 10% will be taxed. Clear with this? So 1 lakh is the profit amount. Capital gains means is the profit only, not the actual amount which we are selling. I have got 1 lakh profit. On that 1 lakh I have to pay 10%. Remember this. Next, so new tax will be levied by the government on distributed income by equity oriented mutual funds at the rate of 10%. So this is the first time on mutual funds the government is going to levy a tax of 10%. Remember this. So on LTCG it is 10%. On mutual funds it is again 10%. Equity oriented. Equity means stock market oriented. When we sell shares, that is called equities market. Okay. And customs duty on mobile phones increases to 20%. What do you mean by customs duty? Either on exports or on imports, customs duty levied by the central government. So on these mobile phones the government will tax 20%. And customs duty on certain parts of televisions increases to 15%. Okay, so these are some of the important points in taxation sector. Hope you are clear with this. Next we will move on to the next sector, that is senior citizens. So why senior citizens? Why government will target only on senior citizens on most of the time? Because senior citizens are the most saving people, right? Yes or no? Youth and middle youth people, they doesn't have the savings habit, but this senior citizens save money in either in post office deposits, PPF or public provident fund, or PF or national pension schemes. So these are some of the instruments used by the senior citizens to save money. Okay, so that's why some provisions are made by the government in every budget for senior citizens. So what are those? Exemption of interest income on deposits with the banks and post offices are proposed to increase from 10,000 to 50,000. Suppose earlier it was only 10,000. After 10,000, whatever interest the person gets, it was taxed. Now the limit is raised from 10,000 to 50,000. Remember this. Okay, next TDS. TDS stands for tax deducted at source, shall not be required to be deducted under section 194A of Income Tax Act 1961, and benefit will be also available for interest from all fixed deposit schemes and recurring deposits. So FD and RD are the mostly used as the savings tools by the people in India in banks and post offices. Okay, so on this interest there will be benefit for all the senior citizens. Okay, and hike in deduction limit for health insurance premium and also for medical expenditure from 30,000 to 50,000 under section 80D. See, this section 80D, section 80C, under section 80C is like when we make any donations to a charity, so we claim that money for tax exemption, right? So all these are used for tax exemption. So now the limit is raised from 30,000 to 50,000. That means I can say, sir, I have paid 45,000 of premium to some life insurance company, so please exempt my tax under section 80D. Remember this. Okay, this is the limits raised from 30,000 to 50,000. Next, increase in deduction limit for medical expenditure. Increase it to 1 lakh under section 80 DDB. These are some of the exemptions available. When you are an employee, you get all these exemptions. Not only for senior citizens, we also get it. Okay, for senior citizens, why the government is having more focus is because they save lot of money in different types of deposits. Okay, so why the government will encourage savings means this money will be used by the industrialists through the banks. So banks will lend this saved money to the industrialists. So savings is very important. It should not stop anywhere. So when we save the money in the banks, see what is Jan Dhan Yojana? Jan Dhan Yojana is not to open bank accounts. This is not only the aim of the government. So at least some money will be saved in these accounts. So when some money is saved in these accounts, so that money can be used by the industry sector through the banking and the country can be developed. Okay. All these exemptions are there for senior citizens. Tanmay Paul. Okay. So proposed to extend Pradhan Mantri Vaya Bandhana Yojana. This is like a pension scheme up to March 2020, and current investment limit proposed to increase to 15 lakhs from the existing 7.5 to 15 lakhs per senior citizens. So up to 15 lakhs they can invest under Pradhan Mantri Vaya Bandhana Yojana. Okay, clear with this? So Pradhan Mantri Vaya Bandhana Yojana is regarding pension scheme. So if I make some investment now, I can get some pension after my retirement. Okay, so these are some of the relief measures by the Union Budget 2018-19 for senior citizens. Moving on to emoluments. Emoluments means like salaries, allowances, etc. Okay, so this time for the first time this is done in the Union Budget 2018-19 in the recent times. Okay, so to revise emoluments for 5 lakhs for the president. Now the president will get 5 lakh rupees as a salary. Okay, and extra allowances will also be there. Okay, and 4 lakhs. So how much is for president? So for president it is 4 lakh rupees. Sorry, 5 lakhs. And for vice president it is 4 lakh rupees. So 1 lakh difference. And for governors of the states it is 3.5 lakhs. Don't think that if he is holding 2 or more states he will get more salary. No, he will get only same 3.5 lakhs salary. And for members of parliament the salaries will change for every 5 years. Okay, this is for the first time introduced. So every 5 years the salaries will be raised for the members of parliament, both for Lok Sabha and for Rajya Sabha. And for 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, 150 crore will be used for commemoration of Mahatma Gandhi. So when did Mahatma Gandhi was born? He was born in 1869. Okay, on 2nd October, right? And when will the 150 years will complete? On 2nd October 2019. So this commemoration program will be held on 2nd October 2019. So 150 crores will be used for the remembrance of Mahatma Gandhi, which he has how much he has contributed to the Indian nation. Okay, these are some of the allowances, salaries. Next is disinvestment and gold. What do you mean by disinvestment? Disinvestment means selling of government share in public sector undertakings like ONGC, HPCL, Air India. Now government wants to sell some government stake in Air India. So that means we are allowing privatization in the government companies. So that is called disinvestment. Does it create any debt? No, because government will get the money because it is selling some share in it. Okay. So next. So moving on to the disinvestment target. How much is it? Disinvestment target of 72,500 crores exceeded. Now expected receipts of 1 lakh crores. That means government wants to make 1 lakh crores through disinvestment only by selling government share in public companies, various public companies. Next, new disinvestment target of 80,000 crores for 2018-19. Earlier it was 72,500 crores. Now the target I want to achieve is 80,000 crores through disinvestment. Next, National Insurance Company, United India Assurance Company Limited, Oriental India Insurance Company Limited to be merged into a single entity. This is a very important question. So all these three will be merged because some may be running on losses, right? So the government wants to merge all these: National Insurance Company Limited, United India Assurance Company Limited, Oriental India Insurance Company Limited. All these three will be merged into single entity. And comprehensive gold policy to be formulated to develop as gold and asset class. So government has introduced some schemes like gold monetization scheme, sovereign gold bond scheme. They are not performing well. Okay, they are performing but not up to the government's goal. So comprehensive gold policy will be formulated soon, so that people will not encourage to buy gold in physical quantity. See, there is a statement by our Prime Minister. So he says that 20,000 tons of gold is lying in India only. So if we use as an asset, it will generate a lot of money. Okay, at least some assets. Okay, so comprehensive gold policy will be coming out soon by the Union government, and to establish a system of consumer friendly and trade efficient system of regulated gold exchanges in the country. So gold exchanges are very important. Okay, so a consumer friendly and trade efficient system will be developed by the Union government soon. And gold monetization scheme. What do you mean by gold monetization scheme? See, one is gold monetization scheme, one is sovereign bond scheme, and one is Ashoka Chakra coins. What is this gold monetization scheme? See, suppose we have gold in the form of chains or rings or bracelets. So when we give to the government, they will melt it and give the money for some years. So they will take it on some rent basis and they will pay you interest like 2.5% like that. Okay, that is called gold monetization scheme. So what is this sovereign bond scheme? Sovereign bond schemes means instead of buying physical gold, I will buy gold on paper. Okay, so that means I am investing on gold through money. I am not buying the physical gold, I am buying through paper, saying so and so person has bought 1 kg of gold. So that will help the economy curbing the imports of gold. Okay, what is this coins? The government has introduced coins like 1 gram, 5 grams on which Ashoka Chakra will be present. Okay, so gold monetization scheme to be revamped to enable people to open a hassle-free gold deposit scheme. So though sovereign bond scheme has succeeded, gold monetization scheme has not succeeded because people are not encouraged. They are not coming up to give their gold and melt it. Okay, this is a scheme which has been a failure. So government will revamp this gold monetization scheme. Hope you are clear with this. Moving on to next sector, that is digital economy. So what do you mean by digital economy? So India has a literacy rate of 74% only. So for us, we have rural population of 68% and urban population of 32%. So rural population are lacking the digital facilities. So when we have digital facilities, they can make transactions online, they can use computers. So when we make transactions online, we can reduce the paperwork and we can reduce the physical cash. Okay, so government wants to have a digital India program. Okay, so what are the initiatives? Niti Aayog. What does Niti stands for? National Institution for Transforming India, which has replaced Planning Commission. So Niti Aayog to initiate a national program to direct efforts in artificial intelligence. So this is a most ongoing program in in the world, artificial intelligence. So which will replace the human intelligence like robots. Okay, nowadays these newspapers are publishing saying that artificial intelligence will reduce jobs. Though it will reduce jobs, but yesterday McKinsey report has said that it will reduce jobs, but it will increase the jobs in different sectors. Okay, so Department of Science and Technology to launch mission on cyber physical systems. So cyberspace is a very important space where we need to protect our data. Okay, so this will be done by the Department of Science and Technology in India. So allocation doubled on Digital India program to 3,703 crores. Okay, 3073 crores will be spent on Digital India program, so that the people will be literate on digital terms. To set up 5 lakh Wi-Fi hotspots to provide net connectivity to 5 crore rural citizens. So 5 crore rural citizens, 5 lakh Wi-Fi hotspots will be established by the Union government in the coming years, and rupees 10,000 crores for creation and augmentation of telecom infrastructure. So telecom infrastructure must be improved so that we can provide telecom services, mobile services, Wi-Fi hotspots, all these things. Okay, this is about digital economy. Moving on to railways. So what about railways? So in the year 1924, the union budget and the railways budget were separated. Yes. On recommendation of which committee? Do you know this? So Ackworth Committee of the British India. Are we independent or dependent? Yes, we are dependent on British India. So at that time British were ruling us. So Ackworth, an economist, he has recommended that union budget and railway budget must be separated. So in the year 1924. So later, after some years, that is in 2017 budget, these were merged. Both railways and the union budgets were merged. So which committee has recommended? This is a very important question. Bibek-Debroy committee has recommended for the joining of the union and railway budget, okay, from 2017 onwards. So now we have only single budget. No need to keep railways as separate. So please merge with it. Okay, this was recommended by, so after how many years? Approximately 93 years. This is also a question. So after 93 years, these two were merged. Okay, earlier we used to have a railway minister. He used to separately announce the railway budget before the actual union budget. Okay, what is the benefit of joining? Mahata says, what is the benefit of joining? We can have a comprehensive policy instead of having different things. Why to see railways as a separate entity? It is a normal part of it. Before 1924, it was a normal part of it. Okay, clear with this? So when we have a single entity, we can have a comprehensive plan of all the entities, giving care to every sector. Okay, not only railways. Clear with this? Next, coming to railways allocations. So how much is allocated? Rupees 1.48 lakh crores has been allocated for Indian Railways. Okay, remember this. How much is the allocation made? 1.48 lakh crores for railways exclusively. Government plans to eliminate 4,267 unmanned railway crossings. What do you mean by unmanned? That means where there is no protection. People are crossing the railway gates without any protection. That is called unmanned railway crossing. So all these 4,267 unmanned railway crossings will be eliminated in next 2 years. Sir, what happened to giving railway zone to Visakhapatnam region in Andhra Pradesh? So it has not been considered. Okay. So for passenger security, Wi-Fi, CCTV in all such stations and trains will be introduced. So customer protection and satisfaction is the main goal of railways in this budget. So customer satisfaction, instead of giving railway zones, introducing new railways, the government is targeting more on customer satisfaction and improving the facilities in the existing railways. Okay, for Mumbai local trains, an amount of 11,000 crores has been allocated to add 90 kilometers of double line tracks. Okay, and under Rashtriya Rail Sanraksha course, a safety first policy is a key for the government to optimize passenger safety. So passenger safety is very important. Recently we used to hear the news regarding railway accidents or railways, the trains have been derailed from the tracks. So to eliminate this, the government is focusing most on the customer satisfaction and customer safety, introducing bio toilets. Earlier we used to, last year the budget, in the last year budget we had this Clean My Coach service. If you give a missed call, they'll come and if you SMS to a number, they'll come and clean the coach, right? This was introduced in the last year budget. Okay, Clean My Coach service. So government is concentrating more on the customer satisfaction and customer safety instead of introducing more trains and railway coaches. So clear about this. And some more things about railways and track infrastructure is necessary, and for that government has targeted over 3,000 kilometers for track renewal. Just now I was talking about train derailments from the tracks. So tracks must be renewed so that the trains will be running faster as well as on a safer tracks. And other technology based measures will be taken by the government like fog safe train protection and warning system. So when we go to north states in India, the fog is a very problem. So because of this, the trains will be delayed. Fog safe and train protection and warning system will be helping this. 600 major stations to be redeveloped by Indian Railway Station Development, and escalators will be introduced to railway station with more than 25,000 footfalls. Yes, Tanmay Paul was asking, what about revamping the old railway stations? Yes, this is the one which can answer you. So redeveloping Indian Railway Station Development, 600 major stations will be redeveloped. Okay, an institute to train manpower for high speed rail projects will be set up in Vadodara in Gujarat. I think high speed rail will be coming from high speed rail, that is our bullet train. I think most of you know it, from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, right? So this bullet train will be coming up, and India's first high speed rail project was laid last year. Okay, this high speed rail has around 160 kmph, and this bullet train will be having more than 300 kmph. So not only introducing bullet trains, we need to train the systems so that there will be less accidents. Okay, that's why an institute will be established in Vadodara of Gujarat, so that people will get trained on these high speed rail projects. Okay, so this is all for this session. Hope you have learned enough things in this topic. Any doubts in this session? Hope I've answered all these doubts. Okay, so Tanmay Paul has asked, sir, I have heard revamping the whole railway station. I have already answered. 600 railway stations will be redeveloped. So prepare well, guys, for all these competitive examinations. This is not only useful for banking exams, as well as it is also useful for SSC, CHSL, CGL, MTS, UPSC and state public service examinations. Hope you have gained enough knowledge about the Union Budget 2018-19. So wherever there are important points, I have marked it in the video, and you can see on the PPT, right? So if you want to go back to the video and see it. So any notes? Notes means these are the notes, you can take it. Clear with this? Any doubts in this? Any more doubts? So that's all for this session. Hope you have learned enough things about union budget. Thank you for subscribing to TalentSprint. Okay, also inform your friends about the benefits of TalentSprint and get the benefits, both of you. Okay, thank you so much and have a great day.